Hello and welcome to BYJU'S IAS. Let's take up the daily quiz for today. The first question. Which of the following cities are located in the Brahmaputra Valley? Guwahati, Dibrugarh, Aizwal, Tezpur. Amongst the given options, Aizwal is not located in the Brahmaputra Valley. Aizwal is the capital of Mizoram and is located quite far away from the Brahmaputra Valley. So the correct answer would be option D, 1, 2 and 4 only. This question was asked because the Hindu carries an image that depicts the Brahmaputra river and the river valley on the outskirts of Guwahati. See, the Brahmaputra river takes birth as the Yarlung Sangpo river in Tibet and flows in an eastward direction. And when it reaches the Namcha Barwa ranges, it takes an almost 180-degree U-turn at the Great Bend and flows southwards as the Siang River when it enters Arunachal Pradesh. Later, it is joined by the Dibang, Lohit and other tributaries to form the mighty Brahmaputra. The Brahmaputra Valley that stretches along this distance encompasses several key cities of Assam, including Dibrugarh, Tezpur, Guwahati, etc. Then the Brahmaputra drains into Bangladesh, where it is known as the Jamuna River, and the Ganga, on the other hand, enters Bangladesh as the Padma River. All these river systems, including few other smaller rivers, they merge to form the Meghna river system. Now let's look at the second question. Which of the following statements are correct? The construction of Humayun's tomb was commissioned by Humayun's son Akbar. The tomb has been declared as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The last Mughal emperor, Bahadur Shah Zafar, took refuge over here during the mutiny of 1857, that is the first war of Indian independence, before being exiled to Rangoon. Amongst the given statements, the first statement is incorrect. So the correct answer is option D, 2 and 3 only. See, the Humayun's tomb is an architectural wonder located in New Delhi, and it was built during the Mughal Empire in the 1500s. It serves as the final resting place of Humayun, the son of Babur and the second Mughal emperor. And the construction of this tomb was commissioned by his first wife and chief consort, Bega Begum or Haji Begum, and not by his son Akbar. This is what makes the first statement incorrect. The construction of Humayun's tomb represented a major leap in Mughal architecture in India, and it introduced the usage of grand mausoleums and Persian gardens into Indian architecture. The inspiration was largely drawn from Central Asian and Afghan architecture, and it would go on to set a precedent for the future of Mughal architecture in India. Today, this site has been designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and we took up this question because the Hindu carries an image that depicts the Humayun's tomb, as the monuments in the national capital are being reopened following the lifting of the lockdown. Now let's look at the third question. Christchurch Call to Action Summit is related to tackling greenhouse gas emissions linked to cryptocurrency mining, curbing online dissemination of extremist content, preventing oil spills and marine disasters, promoting climate-resilient agricultural practices. The correct answer is option B. The Christchurch Call to Action Summit is related to global efforts involving governments, social media firms, and technology-based companies to prevent and curb the dissemination of extremist content on online platforms. See, the Christchurch Call to Action Summit was established in May 2019 by New Zealand. New Zealand took the lead for the establishment of this initiative with the backing of France. This initiative was taken up in the backdrop of the terror attack that took place in New Zealand, that is referred to as the Christchurch mosque shootings. In this terror incident, a radical white supremacist and far right-wing extremist who had been indoctrinated online with Islamophobia targeted innocent worshippers at the Christchurch mosque, resulting in the killing of more than 50 people. This was one of the biggest terror incidents that New Zealand had witnessed, and this again brought to light the impact of social media firms and online internet platforms in propagating radical extremist content. This is a problem that has been affecting almost every country in the world, and including in India, right-wing extremism is on the rise on online and internet platforms. Irrespective of which religion, right-wing extremism is gaining more ground and traction on online internet platforms. And hence, following this terror attack, New Zealand took the initiative to establish the Christchurch Call to Action Summit, which was backed by France. This initiative has been supported by many countries, including India. And under this Call to Action Summit, governments, social media firms, and technology platforms such as Google, Facebook, Microsoft, and the others, they have come together to tackle and eliminate violent extremist content on online platforms. This question was taken up because we have an article in the Hindu which makes a reference to the Christchurch Call to Action Summit. According to this article, the United States is looking to tackle domestic terrorism, especially terrorism and extremism inspired by online propaganda carried out by far right-wing white supremacist groups. So as the United States has announced a national strategy to focus on prevention, interruption, and dissuasion to tackle domestic terrorism, the Biden administration has taken a call to enter the United States into the Christchurch Call to Action Summit, which previously had been boycotted by the Donald Trump administration. Now let's look at the fourth question. The Mayun Island, or also known as the Perim Island, recently seen in news, is located near which crucial maritime choke point? Strait of Malacca, Suez Canal, Bab-el-Mandeb Strait, or the Strait of Hormuz? The correct answer is option C. The Mayun Island is located near the Bab-el-Mandeb Strait. See, this question was taken up because according to this article, a secretive and mysterious air base has come up at the Mayun Island, located at the opening of the Bab-el-Mandeb Strait near Yemen. And according to reports, this military base has been built by the United Arab Emirates. See, the Bab-el-Mandeb Strait located over here is a crucial maritime choke point as it connects the Red Sea with the Gulf of Aden. It's one of the most important sea lanes of communication as it connects Europe with Asia. Ships that pass through the Mediterranean Sea and the Suez Canal, they enter the Red Sea and then pass through the narrow Bab-el-Mandeb Strait over here and then enter the Gulf of Aden and cross the Horn of Africa to enter the Arabian Sea and the Indian Ocean. At this key choke point, there is a small volcanic island known as the Perim Island or the Mayun Island, and it belongs to Yemen, which currently is in a state of civil war. As we have discussed in previous sessions, the Houthi rebels of Yemen, who are reportedly backed by Iran, they have challenged the civilian government in Yemen, which is backed by regional powers like Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. After Houthi rebels captured large parts of Yemeni territory, Saudi Arabia led a military coalition to target the Houthi rebels along with the backing of the United Arab Emirates. Now, as the civil war drags on, reportedly an air base has been built on this strategic island located at the opening of the Bab-el-Mandeb Strait, and this military base, consisting of aerial and naval facilities, has been reportedly built by the United Arab Emirates in order to project its power across the Bab-el-Mandeb Strait. Such military bases near the Bab-el-Mandeb Strait is obviously strategic because any country which can exert military influence over here can monitor and control the movement of ships through this important sea lane of communication. That's why in neighboring Djibouti as well, several countries have established military bases, including the United States, China, France, Japan, and other countries. Then also take a look at this map, which depicts the key maritime choke points of the world. You should be aware of the location of Strait of Malacca located over here between Singapore and Indonesia, then the Strait of Hormuz located over here between the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman, and of course we have the Suez Canal near Egypt, the Strait of Gibraltar over here, and the Panama Canal between Central America and South America. These are some of the primary choke points of the world. Then even secondary choke points such as the Bering Strait between Alaska and Russia is very important because the melting ice caps in the Arctic is opening up shipping lanes, and especially these choke points where there exists military and geopolitical tensions, they acquire a lot of importance due to their strategic value. Now let's take up a question from the 2017 prelims paper. Consider the following in respect of Indian Ocean Naval Symposium or IONS. Inaugural IONS was held in India in 2015 under the chairmanship of the Indian Navy. IONS is a voluntary initiative that seeks to increase maritime cooperation amongst navies of the littoral states of the Indian Ocean region. Amongst the given statements, the first statement is incorrect. Because see, the first edition of the IONS summit, that is the inaugural edition, was hosted by the Indian Navy, but not in 2015, but in 2008. This platform is an initiative of the Indian Navy to bring regional navies closer, and this symposium includes almost all the important littoral states of the Indian Ocean region. It has representation from West Asia, South Asia, Southeast Asia, East Africa, and even Australia is a part of the grouping. Under this initiative of the Indian Navy, naval symposiums and workshops are held to discuss the maritime security challenges being faced in the Indian Ocean region. So the correct answer is option B, 2 only. Now coming to the fact of the day, let's talk about the International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea. This international tribunal is in news in the context of the Enrica Lexi case, which had turned into a major diplomatic dispute between India and Italy. See, Enrica Lexi was a commercial ship which was passing close to India's coastline in 2012, and while the ship was passing through Kerala's coastline, the two Italian marines who were stationed on this ship to counter piracy wrongly assumed two Kerala fishermen to be pirates and they opened fire on them. This led to the accidental killing of Indian fishermen who the Italian marines mistook for pirates, and this set off a major diplomatic dispute between India and Italy. India claimed that the incident, that is the shooting incident, took place in India's territorial waters, where Indian laws will completely apply as per UNCLOS provisions or the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. And accordingly, India not only detained the ship, but it also arrested the Italian soldiers. Following their arrest, criminal proceedings were initiated against them as per Indian criminal laws within the Indian judiciary, and they were detained and arrested in India. Italy objected to this stand of India because according to the Italian government, the incident took place in international waters as defined under the UNCLOS, and Italy argued that India did not have criminal jurisdiction over this case. Because as per UNCLOS, incidents that take place in international waters, they fall under jurisdictions as defined by the UNCLOS. The coastal states enjoy full jurisdiction only in their territorial waters, and on these grounds, Italy challenged India's jurisdiction. Finally, the case reached the International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea, which is one of the dispute settling mechanisms under UNCLOS. And recently, the tribunal ruled in Italy's favor and allowed for the criminal proceedings to continue in Italy itself, where the soldiers had been sent back following the intervention of the Indian Supreme Court, thus taking away India's jurisdiction over this case. Then, to compensate the families of the victims, the International Tribunal ordered a hefty compensation to be paid by the Italian government. And now that the MEA has confirmed the payment of this compensation, the Supreme Court of India has ordered the closure of this case. So it is in this context that we need to know about the International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea. This tribunal is essentially an intergovernmental organization created by the mandate of the Third UN Conference on the Law of the Sea. It was established by the UNCLOS, the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, which was signed in 1982 and came into force in 1994. This convention, as you might know, provides for a global framework for laws and regulations over all the ocean space, its uses, resources, and maritime territories and boundaries. This tribunal happens to be one of the 4 dispute resolution mechanisms that has been set up under the UNCLOS, which also provided for the establishment of the International Seabed Authority and the International Whaling Commission, and as well as the Commission on Continental Shelf. This tribunal, that is based out of Hamburg, Germany, consists of 21 judges who represent different geographies as per the UN geographical representation, and the judges are elected for a 9-year period who can be re-elected, and every 3 years the term of 1/3 of the members expires. India has been a party to the UN Convention since 1995, and since then it has been playing a constructive role in upholding the provisions of UNCLOS as it is a part of international law. Currently, Neeru Chadha from India, who happens to be an eminent lawyer and the first Indian woman to become the chief legal advisor in the MEA, had earlier won the election to the International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea, and she is currently serving a 9-year term from 2017 to 2026. So this tribunal has been in news in the context of the Enrica Lexi case, which currently has been closed by the Supreme Court of India following the ruling of this tribunal. So with this, let's conclude our discussion for today. Thanks for watching.